Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You are watching Covering Milestone with Nirbhay Bodikar. So today we have new guest Tanner. He is from USA and he is currently living Germany as an exchange student. So let's bring some question what about the study program in USA. In which university he is studying in USA and where he lives.
Yes.
So hi Tanner.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm excited to share a little bit about the US and studying there.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Can you give you a brief intro?
Yes, I've been studying at Utah State University, which is a university in northern Utah in a city called Logan, for about 3 semesters now. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of new to school, and then I've been living in Germany for about 3 months.
Yeah. So, which course are you pursuing in university?
I'm studying electrical engineering as a bachelor student.
Okay, and how you got into your USA university?
The process was actually quite simple. Right after high school,
Yeah.
I was able to apply to my university. I got a decent scholarship academically, and
Yeah.
so that kind of helped with my decision. But it was a really straightforward process just through their website.
Yo, so like for the USA citizen, it's not very difficult to get into the US university as you are already a US citizen. So you just need to enroll in the university and you get selected, and even with the scholarship also.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So like, how much the fees cost for the course in your
Yeah,
university?
I know that I just got my tuition fees for this coming semester, even though I'm studying abroad. And I think it comes to about maybe 3,000 US dollars or
3,000 US dollar
maybe
per semester.
3,500 US dollars a semester just for tuition.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So, and how much scholarship you receive for on that?
Yes, when I first started, I had a scholarship which covered 90% of my tuition for
Oh,
2 years.
great.
Yes.
Okay. So, like being a USA citizen is very helpful. Like you are also getting the scholarship even for studying. So,
And I would also add to that, I lived in Utah before I started
yeah.
studying, and so there's a difference between in-state tuition and out-of-state tuition. For instance, if I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
from Idaho and then I went to Utah State University, I would be paying closer to 7,000 or 8,000 a semester. But because I've lived in Utah my whole life, I think it's 2 years you need to live in a state, and then they'll give you the reduced cost, which for me is about
Yeah,
three
yeah,
thousand five
yeah.
hundred.
In USA, there is two things like in-state and out-state. And in out-state, basically, even the foreigners also included, because out-state fees are like more higher than the in-state one. So it's a advantage if you are living on a city where the good university is and you're able to got scholarship over there and got an admission, then good to go. And why you take the electrical engineering as a course?
Yeah, there are so many applications of electrical engineering, and I think it comes down to I was very curious about how electronics worked.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I view the potential that electrical engineering has in agriculture,
Yeah.
and so I'm pursuing this field of study in order to help design agricultural solutions for precision farming and smart farming techniques.
So you are very fascinated about the farming things.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
So as as part of from your study, had you any have you worked on any project or any internship
Not
relating to the farming?
Not yet, not yet. But one of my teachers here actually is. I'm in the process of talking to him. He
Yeah.
knows a company down in another German city, Friedrichshafen,
Yeah.
where they have some farming implementations that I could potentially work on in the next few months.
Okay, that's great. So why you came to Germany for as an exchange student?
Yeah, that's a great question because a lot of people from my university actually they don't do study abroad.
Yeah.
Especially engineers, it's very uncommon.
Yeah.
For me, though, I think it's very important to be well rounded, to have
Yeah.
all sorts of experiences. And I saw myself doing engineering, I could very easily focus on just engineering, but to me, that wouldn't be so satisfying. I think I prefer to have a more well-rounded education. So I
Yeah,
came here to kind of pursue that, and it's just cool. It just sounded
it's
cool. Come to Europe, study
yeah.
for a little.
If you visit to different country, you will have more experience than the people who are studying on the same country, because you able to understand the mindset of the other people's country. Okay, how
Exactly,
they develop the things and what they require as a employer, or what they need from the employer to give them.
exactly.
And like if you want to switch to a different country, then this mindset is also important, what other country people thinks.
And I would say even one thing that did interest me as I was writing an essay to come here
Yeah, yeah,
was how they taught engineering here, because of
yeah,
course that different mindset affects how international business would go, how people would think about these problems in a different way, and I
yeah,
think understanding that is so important.
yeah, that's great. Basically they have a different data set to think something, and we are from different country, so we have different data set to think that what they are thinking, so we all having a different ideas. So that's way when we are in a foreign country, we able to discuss the similar concept with a different ideas. That's great. And what is the difference between the academic in the Germany and the USA university?
Okay, in the US, it's very you get so many assignments throughout the semester. You're
Yeah,
always busy with homework or preparing for the next midterm exam. You're always you always have something. At least in my experience, I always had something. For instance, one semester in school, I think I had 15 hours of homework a week just from one
oh,
class, and that was kind of crazy for me. But then the next semester, I had about 10 or 15 hours of homework for all my classes. So it kind of depended on the class, but generally we received a lot of homework and a lot
yeah,
of due dates that we had to do every week or every other week. In addition to that, we had the final exam, of course, which was always looming over our head. But we also had smaller exams throughout the year that also
yeah,
kept
yeah.
us on track. Um, and then all of that happened within a relatively short time. At my university, for instance, we have 3 semesters, which are winter,
Summers.
summer, and fall, or maybe spring, fall, summer,
Yeah,
spring, fall, summer.
spring, fall, and summer.
And
Yeah,
here there's only 2 semesters, winter, summer.
winter and summer.
So we had a shorter amount of time to also learn the subject.
Yeah,
So I think that put together, it was very stressful. I think in America, we had so much work to do and so little time to do it. Here, I've noticed it's a little bit
easy.
easier, yeah, because I mean, I go travel for weekends, and I could not do that during a semester of school
Yeah.
in the U.S. Um, but here, the big kicker is that everything is dependent on our final exam grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't pay attention during the semester, and you don't know how to review by the end, I don't think you can pass a class. In the US, I'm
Yeah.
used to getting A's for every class, like the highest grade. Here, I'm not sure if that's possible because of just how much is weighted on the final
Yeah.
exam. If I make one little mistake there, then that automatically brings my grade down. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Here in Germany, they only focus on the final output, and basically in USA, you have to perform many project, many assignment, and that all grade cumulated and find out as a whole output of the whole semester. But here only depend is the final exam. That's the big difference. And what about like practical learning and the theoretical learning? So which is great, Germany or USA?
I would say the way that my classes are structured right now, been very practical. It's
Yeah.
actually been very nice because my teachers have just told us, okay, read this data sheet. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, I'm in electrical engineering, so they say, we're going to be working with this processor. Read this data sheet. You should familiarize with yourself with it. Whereas in my home university, because it's not a Hochschule, which we're in right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
it is more theoretical. So we're going more into the theory. But at the same time, at my university, we had labs every week. So we were in there using the oscilloscope, For me, we were synthesizing circuits physically in a
Yeah.
breadboard. We did a lot of
In
practical
USA.
things in the U.S.
Yeah.
and here, I think maybe there are more classes just focused on the practical, but there's also theoretical. I would say it's very comparable, I suppose.
Yeah, the thing is, the main difference is that they don't give you the hand-on experience, but they try to give you the material to think as a practicality of the use cases of what you are doing, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then
So
there were a lot of student groups and clubs
yeah,
that like I was part of that then
yeah,
we could do practical things with.
yeah. So there's a difference here, and like considering to the research work, yeah, in USA there is more opportunity or in Germany.
As of right now, because we're in such a small university here, it seems that you can just talk to professors and they're
Yeah.
very open about that opportunity. I was very open to talk to my professors about research when I was in the U.S. And I think if I were to have stayed, I would probably be working for a professor right now,
Yeah.
because professors approached me and asked me if I could do research with them. So I think in both places, research is very open for
Yeah,
undergraduates.
yeah. And one more thing I want to add here, like if you do research under the professor, you need to compile as a scientific project or as a master thesis. If you do for your own, then they will not really help you because they don't have enough time. They have lots of student here, so if you work under them as a part of your some grading, then they will surely help you.
Hmm. And in the US, I would mention usually undergraduate research is paid. You
Yeah, yeah.
usually make around $12 an hour for my university at least. And so even if you want to work on a personal project, you can even get that paid through a
Oh, that's
scholarship.
great.
So, I mean, I would look for those opportunities wherever you're at.
Yeah, that's great thing. Like you can work on your own project as on your interest with the professor in the USA. And like, what about the faculties? How well educated they are in USA?
I would say the biggest difference is in the US, at least in my university, the standard was that they had a PhD,
Yeah,
and but that also meant that they didn't necessarily have to work in industry before they went untaught. So
yeah,
some of my professors went and they did research for their PhD, and then they started teaching immediately, and they also did research on the side, which is kind of a bit different than here because every teacher has to have at least 5 years working in industry before they
yeah.
can even teach you. So you kind of get to experience their knowledge from industry and how that applies.
Yeah, that's the big
Yeah,
difference. Like here, people mostly go on practical, so they teach because they have a previous experience working as a employee in some company, and that's why they able to teach us how the thing is happening in the universe, happening in the company, and how you will able to do it the similar. That's the difference.
exactly.
Okay, and what are the job possibilities in USA for the electrical engineers?
Oh, there's so much. Um, I mean, there's so much. What I would say is um, for any kind of engineer, there's so much there's so many job opportunities in startups and technology
Yeah,
companies. What you'll find though as an engineer is a lot of those companies are actually government contractors.
yeah.
So that will be a consideration as you decide to work for a company like Lockheed
Mm-hmm.
or L3 Harris or other of these government contractors. Is in the end of the day, they are working for the U.S. government, um, and that's I at least from what I know, a lot of my colleagues who are like in aerospace engineering or even electrical engineering, they end up working for these companies which are government contractors. So you will find in America a lot of the work ties back to the
Yeah,
government,
yeah.
and but you can also find of course like
As
independent
a private, yeah.
organizations. So it kind of depends, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw and found so much work for engineers that was in this maybe private sector, but eventually it goes back to the government, if not just a government engineering job.
Yeah. And so this is all about the jobs things in the USA. Okay, in Germany, the main difference is that if you want to get a job, you should know the language. That's most priority thing. Like because most of their clients are the home base, so you know the German, then you able to get the job easily. Okay. So thank you for being with me. It's have a great time with you. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah.